Hi everyone, I'm retired meteorologist Pat Prokop, and today is Friday, January the 12th, and got some activity going on in the weather across the southeast, as a matter of fact, across a large portion of the country, and we might see some thunderstorms this evening, but right now the odds are not all that great for area of intense thunderstorms to move across the area, but we're going to take a look at that. But I'm more concerned about something else. It's a cold air that's going to be flowing in toward this direction. As a matter of fact, winter is going to be starting in our area beginning early next week particularly, and then for the next 10 days thereafter, 10 to 14 days, we're going to have our winter here in the southeast. So let's first of all take a look at the jet stream, and a couple things going on right now. Right over here in the south center portion of the country, there's a big dip in the jet stream right there, and that's going to be ushering in the potential for severe thunderstorms this afternoon. But most of that activity is going to be to the west of Interstate 95 and a lot of it to the far west of Interstate 95, and more so up to the north, in and around over here where the jet stream is flaring out somewhat in that region there. That's where you're going to have the best area for the development of severe weather. But also this over here. Look at the jet stream coming in across the northwest portion of the country, actually the continent, up in the Yukon and then and Northwest Territories, flowing southward. And that's going to be ushering in some very cold polar air. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at some of those temperatures right now. And it is cold. We're talking below 0 Fahrenheit. Actually, we're talking way below 0 Fahrenheit. Some of these temperatures in Canada are down to around 40 below 0 right. Well, look at this, 49 below 0 in some locations across the Northwest Territories and the Yukon right now in Canada, and that's going to be all moving off toward the south. No, not that cold. I mean, the cold air is going to be pushing southward. It's not going to get that cold here, but it is going to be cold across the middle portion, northern part of the country. Still, right now, Friday afternoon, early afternoon, temperatures are still well below 0. Into North and South Dakota, all the way down into Nebraska. And understand there's a big football game coming up over here in Kansas and the Kansas City area over here. They're going to be wind chills about minus 25 degrees during that football game on Saturday for division playoffs. Anyway, let's look at the advisories across the country this afternoon. And a lot of high wind advisories remain in effect across the south central into the Ohio River Valley, into the portions of the southeast. Not so much here. It's going to get blustery, but not real windy. We might see some stronger gusts and some thunderstorms that could move across the area late this afternoon, more so this evening up to around midnight. But over here in the Great Lakes states, they got winter storm warnings, blizzard warnings in effect over here, wind chill advisories here. Let's take a look at one of those advisories. Dangerous wind chills as low as 35 below 0. Oh my gosh, that is cold. More blizzard warnings over here into the area of Wyoming, and then Utah and Nevada. Blizzard warnings, particularly in around the Salt Lake City areas, and high wind warnings and blizzard warnings and wind chill effects warnings in portions of Montana. It's hard to see the state lines with all the warnings in effect across that area, Wyoming and Montana, Idaho, what have you. And over in Iowa, where is it? It's somewhere in there underneath all this activity. Looking at the national radar summary, maybe be able to clear off some of this stuff right now. Here it is. There's Iowa right there. Well, they're getting snow right now in Iowa. And over in the Wisconsin area, northern Illinois, it's moving into southwestern Michigan. They're expecting more than a foot of snow in some locations out there, along with some very strong winds, hence blowing and drifting of snow across that area. What about the southeast? There's a warm front right here, and that's going to be advancing northeastward throughout the late afternoon, early evening hours. We might even see temperatures rising after sunset for a little bit before the cold front right over here passes on through, and then that will cause temperatures to drop somewhat. The very cold air will hold off just a few more days before it reaches into our region. I think that's going to be Tuesday night is the first really cold night of the winter season for us. We're going to have a hard freeze, not just one night, but several nights, and then a little respite of that. Milder air moves in, and then the following week, another week of cold, sub-freezing temperatures across our regions. All right, let's go into the map. Let's look at the severe weather map. There is a potential for severe thunderstorms across the southeast United States. Again, it looks to me like most of it will be well west of Interstate 95, but there's a chance that we could see some brief thunderstorm activity, particularly after sunset between 6 o'clock to about midnight. There's a chance for some thunderstorms. Most of it will be to the west and north of us. All right, let's take a look at the other conditions across our area, and the conditions for the models shows the forecast model here. This is the high resolution rapid refresh model, and there you can see this afternoon, let's back it up in time, that's now going into the evening, a lot of heavy snow across the northern portion of the upper Mississippi Valley and the Great Lakes states, western and central Great Lakes states, and very strong thunderstorms across the area south of that from portions of Ohio all the way down into northwestern Georgia. I'm going to take a look at the radars in just a minute. And then advancing eastward, and then look, it's really very sparse across our area. There's the cold front right there, and this would be at 8 o'clock this evening, translating Zulu time to Eastern Standard Time. And then that system crosses the coast at the Savannah River entrance at midnight tonight at 5 Zulu, and then off the coast after that. And you can see the snow is really ramping up across the Great Lakes states out there, and some heavier rains and snow mixed across the New England states, particularly the southern and central New England states. New York City is going to get some very hefty rains and some winds, along with Philadelphia, Newark, and moving up into the Boston area, but not for us. Let's take a look at the forecast temperatures. That's more. First of all, let's take a look at the radars. Let's do that. Let's go to my homepage, savannahpat.name, and first of all, here's the local radar out of the Charleston Weather Forecast Office. The radar itself is located in Grays, North Carolina, which is about 10 miles northeast of Ridgeland, South Carolina. Basically, it's right there. Anyway, there's Savannah. There's my location right here. I'm 62 degrees at the moment. And there we see some showers already developing and advancing northward. That's part of the warm front. Temperatures will be moderating somewhat throughout the late afternoon and evening hours. Further to the south, the Valdosta Moody Air Force radar showing the same thing, the scattered showers in advance of the warm front, even though we're not seeing that much warm temperatures in the lower 60s at Lake City, Florida, but still in the 50s across many locations in Georgia. Winds are shifting more to the south-southeast, and it'll become more southwesterly throughout the evening hours. One more radar to show you, local radars, and that's the one over out of Birmingham, Alabama, and it's showing some intense thunderstorms across central Alabama now, moving into the Birmingham area. That's the actual region where the severe weather threat is the greatest right now, and that's moving across Alabama, approaching the northwest and western portions of Georgia. Atlanta might get some severe weather activity later this afternoon into the evening hours. Now let's go into the temperature forecast, because that's important right now. These are the low temperature forecasts. This is beginning for Saturday morning. We expect to see temperatures, well below zero, 20. Well, look at that, 39 degrees below zero across central portions of Montana. Zero line all the way down into central and northwestern Kansas. That's for Saturday morning. Tomorrow morning, for the following morning, you can see it advances a little bit south and a little bit more eastward. And then for the Monday morning, January 15th, we'll be in the upper 30s, lower 40s across southeastern Georgia, eastern South Carolina. But there you can see the very strong wedge of cold air across a large portion of the middle part of the country. Day 4, let's go into that. That'll be Tuesday morning. Still moderate temperatures across the southeast, but the cold air is covering a large chunk of the nation now, with sub-freezing all the way down into probably into Mexico. but the sub-zero temperatures all the way down into Oklahoma City could be below zero. And then looking ahead for the day number 5, that'll be Wednesday morning. We're starting to see our low temperatures in the 20s, upper 20s, and middle 20s, and then going into the day 6 would be Thursday next week. We'll be deep in the freeze here with a hard freeze across all of Georgia and South Carolina, even on the islands. Matter of fact, let's take a little bit closer look at the general forecast for our area. Here we have it again for Saturday morning and then Sunday morning. Temperatures in the low 30s to middle 30s on Sunday morning. Statesboro right around the freezing mark, 31 degrees, just a touch below freezing. Then we go into Monday morning, about the same. Temperatures a little bit warmer on Tuesday morning, but then the cold air moves in. Look at this. This is for Wednesday morning, January 17th, and we're seeing temperatures in the middle 20s to lower 20s, and then west of the fall line, temperatures will be dropping into the teens. Atlanta, 14 degrees, Rome, 10. And then looking at the day 6 forecast for Thursday, January 18th, we're seeing temperatures still in the mid-20s across just about all of southeastern Georgia, and even into Hilton Head Island. Temperatures will be below freezing on the islands there, and in the 20s across just about everywhere else into Georgia. So let's take a look again at the my extended forecast for the next several days. The forecast right now, though, the immediate forecast for Friday evening tonight, possible severe thunderstorms. It's not a huge chance, but the thunderstorms that do develop, there'll be a very thin line of thunderstorms. Not going to drop much rain, maybe at best a quarter of an inch. And then clearing after that, partly cloudy on Saturday. Then going into Tuesday, the hard freeze overnight. We could have some rain in the morning, and then a hard freeze overnight with clearing weather conditions and breezy. Wednesday, hard freeze once again. High temperature on Wednesday only in the middle 40s with lows in the mid 20s to around 30 on the islands. And then another hard freeze coming in for Friday, the following week from today. And then beyond that, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of the following week will be below freezing. So our winter will be definitely coming in throughout the middle of January. What about my 6-week weather outlook? It's not a forecast, it's an outlook, and it's calling for the average between now and next week is to be around the normal. Normal high is 61, normal low is 40, but we're going to have some days a little bit warmer than that and some days colder than that. But then week number 2, the January 20 through 26, we're going to see temperatures below the normal, and in some cases much below the normal. Normal low is 40. We'll be down into the middle 20s. And then week number 3, or going into the end of January, early February, there's Groundhog Day. That's the midpoint between the first day of winter and the first day of spring. And it'll be winter conditions out there with temperatures well below normal, and below normal again for the first full week in February, and then moderating a little bit for the middle of February, and then back to chilly weather conditions again for the mid portions to end portion of February. But then again, the normal conditions are rising a little bit. So 44 is normal low versus on the end of February versus 40 for right now. So just keep that in mind. So anyway, for the remainder of the evening hours and for tonight, we could see a chance for some showers and thunderstorms developing and moving into the area. Slight chance for severe weather with winds gusting above 65 miles per hour for a brief period of time. But then the big weather news right now is the onslaught of cold, freezing weather. And if you're going to ask, right now it does not look like any of this will be in the form of snow. A lot of people like to know if it's going to snow or not in Savannah. Chances are, for the entire winter, chances are extremely low. As like I say, you have 2 chances. You got Slim and none, and Slim just left town. Anyway, I don't expect to see any snow this year across our region, but we're going to have some cold air. But, it's winter. That's why they call it January. So keep that in mind. I'll be back sometime later with more weather updates right here on my Weather and Nature channel. Thanks for watching. Please leave your comments below if you have any. I hope you do. Just say, if you want to just say hello, that's fine too. The algorithm really helps. The comments really helps that YouTube algorithm. So anyway, like this video, pass it on to your friends, and stay warm. Bye.